Is this thing on or how's it going? Well, hello and how's it going? Well, how's it going?
Hello, and how's it going? Hello, how's it going?
Well, how's it going? Well, how's it going?
Well, no, sorry. Well, how's it going?
Well, how's it going? I'm here with you. I looked at you and I started
I was
laughing.
going to say good.
Well, how's it going? I'm here with Christian and Madison, and we're back.
We are back.
The back, baby. My phone vibrated.
Try not to laugh.
Well, how's it going? My name's Ben Spiteri. I am here with Madison Phipps, Christian Karamanich, and our very special guests this evening, Christian Saffioti.
Thanks for having me. Pleasure
No
to be
worries.
here.
Welcome, mate. It's going to get real confusing real quick with two Christians.
Yeah, how are we going to
Yeah.
designate this? We're going to...
I don't know. Do we just go?
JK and CC.
Yeah, all right.
Well, he's
Go
not
with that.
CC.
I know, but it just makes it easy. It makes
Rolls
it
off the
easy.
tongue. Yeah.
Yeah.
We can go with Kara and Saf. That's usually the growing up our whole teenage years and adult years. It's always been Kara and Saf. No one ever gets called Christian around here. So.
Yeah, that's right. Otherwise, it's just way too confusing.
Yeah. Benny, would you like to tell us what Saf is doing here and why we've got him on the show?
Oh, that's a great idea. I wish I had those notes in front of me. You freaked me up here.
Sorry, space just like shut down.
Yeah, I panicked then.
Saf is a financial planner who specializes in retirement wealth planning. Yeah?
That's correct.
I hit the nail on the head
Exactly.
there. Was that
Yeah,
good?
yeah,
Okay.
spot on.
All right, cool.
Spot on. Yeah.
So we thought we'd get Saf on the show to talk us through effectively what he does, retirement planning, and how to make your money work for you in terms of those sort of later years of your life, and hopefully link it back to property somehow. That was the plan anyway.
But a lot of older listeners.
Yeah. Oh, look, there's always going to be a link between the two. I think they go hand in hand, which we'll get into later. But
Ask the boomers, mate.
yeah, that's it. That's it. They
Get rich without brick and mortar.
I think they dominate both of our industries. We're
hard.
doing, especially in financial planning, most of my clients are that age group. So, yeah, they're
Cool.
the ones who this advice is relevant for, I guess.
Yeah,
a
pretty
lot of the time.
So before we jump into that and unpack all of that, we do want to obviously introduce you a little bit better to the listeners, viewers, listeners, whatever, because we do both audio and video.
Lots of viewers. Christian will remind them where to watch. I said I wasn't going to call you Christian as well. It
You
just gets
did.
stuck.
You did.
Yeah.
And again, you hate when I plug, but now you tee me up for a plug.
Yeah, I know.
I don't understand what you want.
I tease you.
What do you want? Like, do you want me to plug it or do you not want me to plug it?
We'll discuss that after.
Oh, now I'm in trouble with my wife. What's going on? Anyway, so we've all known Saf for a number of
Got the cameras.
Do we need to pause and adjust the mic? Is it going to keep falling over?
I think it's okay.
I
I
want to
hit it.
tilt it back down.
Yeah,
God,
but
it's
Tom
all
said
happening.
that's
The
no
mic,
good.
the actual the stand.
Yeah,
So
there
it
you
doesn't-
go. Perfect.
Yeah, that's a better idea.
and then you can tighten the screw on the side and it'll.
That actually scared me, I'll be honest.
I'm going to put it down.
I could see it coming, but I didn't catch
They're
it.
going to be a bit high for you. I can put it back down a little bit.
It's like you at touch footy.
That better, Dom?
Yeah, that looks
Alright.
stable.
Sorry about that.
All right.
He
and if-
literally
and
said
if you're
before we
watching-
were recording, he goes, I don't want the shit mic.
The mic is good. It's just the stand. That's the
Yeah,
issue.
just-
The mic attacked me.
Yeah.
Mm.
All right. Well, to jump back in before Ben's issue with the microphone over there. We've all known Saf for years because Saf was in the same year as me and Ben in high school.
That's right. Yeah.
We obviously a bit of a common thread on our podcast in terms of people that we know. But
That's Wollongong, mate. It's not what you know.
yeah.
True.
So we've all known Saf for years and years and years. So to start us off, we want to know a bit more about sort of your background in terms of where have you lived, where'd you grow up, a bit about you, your personal life, hobbies, all that kind of.
Yeah, sure.
You know, like
sure.
when you have a class at uni and the first tutorial, the shooter's like, okay, guys, we're going to go around the room. Give me your full name,
Oh,
your date of
I
birth,
hate when they
your
do
tax
that.
file number,
Yeah.
and tell me 3 fun things you like about yourself. Yeah, we're going to do one of those.
Yeah, thanks.
We
Okay.
would know
Well,
about
I don't
that.
know my tax file number off the top of my head, but I
Disappointing.
do have a few other things. I grew up in Unadera, so Dera boy, played soccer down there my whole life pretty much. Moved around. We're in Gwynnville, Balgownie, a couple different suburbs around Wollongong.
Gong boy.
Through and through, exactly. I moved up to Sydney probably 2.5, 3 years ago now. We moved into
Chasing the
to
dreams.
Newtown and Glebe, chasing the dreams, exactly right. But very, very different places. I think for me, Wollongong is always going to be home. It feels like home, and I've got all family, friends, everyone down here, and
And Ben.
yeah.
He's getting into it early.
I am.
That's a real early shot.
No, Ben pissed me off this morning, so I've got to make sure I give it back to him a little bit.
Sorry,
now.
Carol.
Yeah, it's okay. We're good. We still love each other.
Yeah, so that's basically me. So played soccer with both of these boys, and I've only just recently kind of slowed it down a little bit.
You're still playing in Sydney?
Oh yeah, just park football though. So it's
That's the best.
it's chasing the dream
That's all
like
we
you
play.
guys.
That's all we play, mate. It's the best.
Yeah, it's all for glory and to
Sunday League special, baby.
yeah, pretend that you still got it really, which we clearly don't. But
Absolutely do not.
but no, it's good. It's good. So but plans on kind of living there for the next couple of years and seeing how things go. But yeah, like I said, everyone's down here, so very familiar with the area and the people in it.
Beautiful. So obviously, in terms of hobbies and what you do outside of work, soccer is a big one. I know that.
It is correct.
We all know that now.
Yep.
What else?
I've kind of sat on the
And
couch
drinking.
the last.
Drinking isn't a hobby.
Okay. All right. Well, that was going to be my next one. Thanks for saying that. I've kind of sat on the couch the last kind of 2-3 days watching the Ashes.
Nice.
I don't mind a bit of cricket. That's a bit of a
Weird for a good little white boy like you.
Yeah. Well, yeah, good looking maybe, but they're definitely the second part. But I used to play it a little bit as a kid.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, just the feeling of when it comes on for me, it's like, all right, summer's here. And yeah, I do love a bit of that. I think all things sport for me.
Yep.
I'll watch South Korean badminton if it's on TV. Like I'll just, whatever's.
No, he's not Macedonian. I'm not to the butcher as much, man.
So big sport fan. Do love food. I've become a bit of a foodie now, being in Sydney.
Of course you will.
So
You sound like a wanker saying that.
I know. As soon as it came out of my mouth, I went, yeah, okay, that's fair. But yeah, it's something that just kind of happens when you're up there, and there's so much to see and explore. So yeah, doing a bit of that, and hanging out by the beach. I guess.
Beautiful.
Lovely.
Well, considering you're a foodie, this next one's going to be really easy for you then, I hope. We do a little, when we have guests on, we did it with us, the three of us as well. Favourite restaurant, favourite cocktail.
Right. Okay. Are we talking Wollongong or Sydney?
You can give a Wollongong and a Sydney.
Okay. All right.
Sydney.
I'll give both.
Local preferably.
Preferably.
So
Espresso.
I don't mind Santino's. I feel like that's
Yeah,
a pretty
snack.
common
Okay.
one
Yeah.
amongst all of your guests, but Santino's is really nice.
Love the accent with it.
Yeah,
Me,
yeah.
Santino's.
He's Italian, to be fair.
Yes, yeah. And up in Sydney, it's Bistecca.
Yep.
Bistecca is it's insane.
It's so
I don't know if
good.
you guys have ever been there, but
You've got to lock your phone away in the locker.
yeah. We went,
Oh,
they've
really?
got little things that they do. There's like a candle that melts, and that's like
Bread dip.
the bread dip. All these little things. So would recommend.
They-
The only problem is it takes like 3 weeks to actually get in.
Yeah.
To book it. So yeah, but that's a really,
Where is
really
it?
nice place. In the city. It's right in the city.
Dipping your bread in candle.
Like across from
Yeah.
Palmer's and Co.
Yeah, it's interesting. Yeah, very new.
Yeah, okay.
No.
Anyway, so big fan of that. Cocktail. I'm a Negroni guy.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
So was Daniel. No, was Daniel? He loves Negroni.
I think it was too. Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like it's a recent thing.
I think it's
very
an Italian
posh.
thing.
You think? Yeah,
Is it
maybe.
an Aperol or is that stupid?
I don't know if it has Aperol in it.
Well-
It's got like vermouth and like some other
It's
like,
similar
whole bunch of red.
flavours.
It's so strong.
Yeah.
Like you have 3 of
Proper.
those.
No?
and you're sit.
I think it must be an Italian thing. Daniel liked it too.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
don't know.
maybe.
Yeah.
I don't
I
know.
can't get around a Negroni.
And it's really bitter. Like
It is
I don't
so
know about maybe it's just an Italian thing,
It
but
must
we
be, yeah,
we grew up
Pinotto
drinking
as a kid.
Pinotto, like
Oh.
really
Yeah.
bitter drinks, and we're super used to it. So, for me, I think it's really nice. But yeah, I've always loved those.
Cool.
Vodka lime soda as well.
Yeah.
Shout out Bistecca sponsorship.
Yeah,
Question mark?
yeah. Okay.
Sponsor us,
But
Bistecca.
they
let's
cook it
work
in
on
front
that.
of you as well. It's unreal.
It's
Like
insane.
it's right, like the wood fires. They cut it in front of you.
And they come out, and they like show you the piece.
Yeah.
They're
Yeah,
like,
right.
this is
Or like, don't do a better debutante and point to that one in the window and it's just
That's
expensive cut in the
about it.
restaurant.
Really?
Oh,
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Ow.
Got a bit cocky. Just thought,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
I'll have that one.
Did you have a big month that month, by any chance?
No, that was pre-real estate. So we're in big trouble.
Oh, okay.
How many AC units did you install?
Not enough to cover a steak.
Oh, good stuff. All right. Personal life wise, brilliant. Bit of a foodie, likes Negronis.
That's right.
Typical good little wog boy. Somehow likes cricket.
Yeah,
Don't
yeah.
know.
That's a bit of a
contradiction.
Yeah,
I'm
weird one.
petrified my son will play cricket one day.
Really? Yeah.
Become an alcoholic. Imagine sitting there for 10 hours a day just drinking.
Yeah, it's
What's
they're
gonna
long games. They're
So
like when I
They're long games.
like
different
4
from your
hours.
Saturdays now.
Yeah, much different. Just day to night.
Day drinking instead of nighttime.
Yeah,
Perfect.
which is more dangerous, I think.
Yeah,
So,
day drinking's the best.
Day
You're in
drinking,
bed by 6 o'clock.
Oh,
Someone always tries.
properly then, mate.
Well,
No, the problem is I go into the night. So
that's
we're
it.
just
I
Day-
do
just
a bender.
It's just
Yeah.
an earlier starting point.
Yeah.
Well, if you day drink hard enough, you're in bed by 6 o'clock.
Do you ever drink hard enough?
That is Saturday scaries or Sunday scaries. Like if you're in bed when it's
Saturday
yeah, like
Saturday scary.
if you're in bed by 6 p.m. on a Saturday because you're drunk, that's scary. Like you've just got to keep going till it's at least 10 o'clock.
I disagree. There's something to be said. Like when you're like in Europe somewhere, and you're at a beach bar and you get hammered and
Nah.
you get back to the hotel at 5 o'clock. That 5 o'clock nap before you go out again.
Oh, you've got to go back out again.
It's iconic. Though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry, we're here to talk about
Sorry.
you. So, in terms of your background, what got you to this point in your career, I want to talk a bit more about work, your background, but surrounding your career. So,
Sure.
Obviously, went to school with us, Holy Spirit College, Bellambi, brilliant.
That's right.
Represent.
Another shout out.
Uh-huh.
We love
Live
a
by
good
the
shout
truth.
out.
Let's go.
Sing the song.
And then went into real estate.
After high school, Christian Saf.
Yeah.
Saf, this is so we say
So
Christian. I
weird,
can't
yeah,
do it.
yeah.
I'm trying to be more professional on a podcast. I can't do it. Saf went to uni with me, University of Wollongong, also with Madison's husband, Nick. None of us made any new friends at uni because we went to uni with all our high school friends.
Yep.
A bunch of drop
Literally
kids.
made your effort.
Zero friends.
I
Anyway,
think Tara just did the assignments and everyone copied.
something like that.
Yes.
Saf goes back because we didn't share as many subjects. Me and
Okay.
Saf.
That's true.
Because Saf did he did a
Just
you did a
throwing
double
everyone else
degree.
under the bus.
Yeah, I did economics and finance.
Yeah.
The double degree.
But you
so-
also did the international studies.
That's
as
right.
well. That's
Yeah,
right. 'Cause
yeah.
I did economics finance too, but you also did international studies.
Correct. Yeah. So a little bit different. Wasn't my
Mr.
cup of tea.
Worldwide.
Definitely went the economics route for good reason, I
You're
think.
not
but,
Mr. Worldwide at all? and
No,
all that,
definitely
you
not.
know?
Definitely not.
Cool. So obviously you went to uni. What's wrong, Dom?
Cutting in.
He doesn't have a
Always wants to be involved.
You know what it is? I think he's jealous. Saf stole his mic. Normally,
is it yours? Is it
Dom's got the spare mic,
Okay.
but he's got nothing today.
All right.
We still haven't had a Dom appearance.
Yeah, can we get some chime-ins? I reckon a couple of Dom chime-ins throughout the
Chirping's
podcast
great. We
would
do
be
love
a,
them, but
a
he
real
doesn't.
good addition to the podcast.
He's got no mic at the moment. That's
Yeah.
the problem.
I always refer to him. I'm always like, Dom, can you whack up this fact? I love it.
He's our fact
A
checker.
little
Yeah,
chat
that's-
GBT over
that's-
there.
the
So,
man
yeah.
in the chair.
To be fair, you can't bullshit. It won't get past us. We got Dom. He'll fact check you on everything.
Yeah, good. Yeah,
Even
I'm
if
glad.
it's an hour later, he'd be like, back to
Well,
that.
sorry. He's
Yeah,
going to
we're
message
gonna
me
circle
tonight and be
back.
like, this is what you got wrong. This
Yeah.
is what you got wrong.
The play-by-play at the end.
Classic Dom.
Anywho, UOW.
Yes. Yeah, correct.
Double degree in economics and finance and international studies.
Yep.
Obviously, one of them is being used a lot
A lot more than the other. Oh, yeah.
Straight out of uni, what happened? So obviously, you went to uni, graduated, happy days. You started working though during uni, didn't you?
Correct. Yeah, exactly. So I got my first finance role at Morgan's in Wollongong, and that was kind of halfway through uni. So I was 21. So I've probably been doing this for about 7 years now, which is insane. But yeah, basically got the internship that turned into a part-time role that turned into a full-time role. And then once I finished uni, I then was working there full-time. So I did all my financial planning qualifications, finished with a graduate diploma on top of the degree.
Lovely.
Because with financial planning now, there are all these extra regulations with new entrants coming in.
That's so much nicer that time than when you last.
Yeah, well, yes. I've become a bit of a politician in my old age. So yeah, it's a very, very different market now for financial advisors coming in. We saw probably a third of the total market leave because of these new educational requirements. So it means that
there's a lot. Hey, they'd
does.
rather leave the industry than do a bit of extra.
Exactly. Yeah.
Good
So
for
it's-
you, at least.
It's great for us, exactly. And this is what we say. There's a huge, huge portion of Australians that are now becoming unadvised, which means that we can go forth and kind of pick up the slack from those,
Target
for lack of a
market
better
being-
term, dinosaurs that have left the industry. So, yeah, it's...
The plague.
Oh my god!
No, they're just leaving
as
the industry.
well.
They're not dying.
It happened. Yeah, true.
a bit of both. Yeah, a bit of both. You'd be surprised, actually. Yeah,
Oh.
so...
So Morgan's for a little bit, and how long are you?
That's right. So,
Spoilers: he left Morgan's, then went back to Morgan's.
correct.
Staff does
Yeah.
still currently
Oh,
work
you
for Morgan's, but in
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
How long was the first stint at the Wollongong?
So the first stint was about 4 years from go to woe, and then I basically got my qualifications and then moved up to Sydney.
Mhm.
So I actually got a job in corporate finance, which was not what I thought it was. I was there.
Soul-sucking.
That's right. Yeah, but I learned a lot, and from there, obviously, came back and I was there for about a year and a half, actually, a year and kind of 3 months, and then interviewed for a couple of different places in Sydney, and Morgan's in Sydney, the head office, basically said, look, we'd love you to come back. And I did. So look, the culture's really good there. It's a fantastic place to work. And I'm not just plugging it because it's a public thing. Like, I genuinely believe that.
I want to promote from tomorrow.
Yeah, that's it. I've
on
been
this podcast though, to be fair.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with the plug.
Who doesn't, right?
And you must like it because you went back.
That's right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Morgan's great.
Yeah. Morgan.
Who's Morgan?
Who's
Is involved in a lot. Morgan's Financial, Morgan Stanley, JP Morgan, whoever Morgan was. He loved finance.
He's done well.
But,
He's done well.
Yeah.
Morgan's everywhere.
Shout out to Morgan.
Shout out to Morgan. Yeah.
But Morgan's mowing.
It's so it's been
Fuck, Ben might work there next week. Jim's just like Jim's, any
everywhere,
franchises everywhere. Morgan's the same.
Morgan's Financial Planning.
Yeah.
Jim's Financial Services. Yeah.
Yes.
it worked.
There is a Jim's Financial Services, isn't there? It's Jim's Surveying now as well.
I've seen the surveying one.
Yeah.
If Jim's got financial services, we've got property.
You've got a property podcast.
Honestly,
it didn't
maybe
really
next
sound
week.
like it. I think she probably does the way.
Get Jim on.
Isn't he some like 90-year-old dude now? I don't know.
No, he doesn't
He's
look at him
still
on the
raking
side of
it
the
in.
trucks. You know his face. That's
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Must have been when he was 40.
God, that was off topic. That was
Sorry.
well off topic.
We did pre-warn you, Saf. We
No,
did.
fair,
We got
fair.
on hand.
I love it. Wouldn't have it any
Yeah.
other way. So,
But anyway, so that's your background. So
That's right.
you've been working in the industry now for about 7 years. You've got all your qualifications as a financial planner.
yep,
effectively.
exactly right.
And talk to us a bit about what you do in terms of what your specialty is and what you basically do for your clients.
Yeah, exactly.
Obviously, there's a whole different caliber of financial planners. It's a very broad-reaching term, right?
Yes, exactly. So financial planners as a whole do everything. So they do tax planning, estate planning, retirement planning. Obviously, the investment stuff and the investment side is a big part of what I do. I'm one of the only financial planners in my office. They all do pretty much investment advice, which is a client comes to them. Yeah, a client comes to them and says, "Look, I've got X amount of money. I just want you to
What do I
manage
do with
my
it?"
investment portfolio." They've probably got property, so they want to diversify out of that, and they use stocks to do that. So my role is all of those things. I'm more so on the investment side. So that's the majority of what I do day to day. But the financial planning all kind of comes into it. So it's holistic. It's the idea is that you're kind of I know, right? It's the word of the day. A one-stop shop for everything, and for a client who needs help at any stage. But we do a lot of work with self-managed super funds, which is probably something we'll get into later. But very, very important part of our planning process and what we do. So
basically, like you said before, these dinosaurs. I know you're talking about the ones that left the industry, but the other dinosaurs who are managing all
sticking
their,
around. Yeah.
the ones who have 17 properties in their portfolio and don't know how to manage it because they're paying too much tax. They come to you for help. Basically.
That's right. They do. Yeah, exactly.
So in terms of planning, you've focused mainly on retirement planning, effectively. So getting people ready for that last sort of step in life and how to manage their wealth coming into that sort of stage. Yeah.
Yeah, spot on. So retirement or even pre-retirement. So if you're in your kind of 40s and you're thinking, oh, maybe I should get some help. I've got, a property here. I've got, I'm paying too much tax here. I've got a little bit of cash set aside here. I just need some help. I need someone to help me figure out. Yeah, I know.
I know.
Right?
I'm having those problems at the moment. It's really tough.
Oh no, I make too much money.
Steak's too juicy. Oh no.
Oh no, stack up for dinner.
Yeah.
My beer's too cold.
Yeah. So it's definitely that kind of 40 and above is predominantly my clients, but I do have some younger clients who are kind of accumulators and who are wanting to, build their portfolios and build their wealth over time. So
beautiful. One of the other questions I had for you, obviously, we're sort of speaking very vaguely. I kind of want to drill down into the sort of nitty gritty of what you do. So when you're presenting, I guess, advice to clients, obviously there are a whole range of factors you take into consideration. Do you want to walk us through some of those things? So what specifically is your sort of main area of focus that you deal with, and what factors sort of come into play when you're giving these people advice? Because obviously it's everyone's circumstance is so insanely different. I'm sure there's a few pretty similar key points person to person that generally sort of dictate the level of advice that you give. Yeah?
That's right. Yeah. So you're right. You're spot on. Everyone's going to be completely different.
Like as an example, age is obviously one of your biggest considerations. Right?
Sure. Yep. Age, income level, expenditure is obviously a big one. If they're planning trips to the Bahamas every year, we've got to try and factor that in. So we do obviously a lot of planning around lifestyle. Essentially, it is, okay, I've got X amount of assets. I'm going to be earning Y. How do I get to this number in retirement so I can live comfortably.
Okay, so it's more goal oriented. So people will give you, I want to have X amount of money, X amount of dollars available to me, whether it's in cash, assets, liquid, whatever it might be. I want to have this amount basically in my asset portfolio by the time I hit retirement age.
Exactly right.
Do they generally come to you with that figure, or do you sort of sit down and work out?
And that's a conversation we have.
Yeah.
Some people have an idea, normally engineers or lawyers or people who are very detail orientated. I'm sure you guys deal with them in your field.
Academic.
Yeah, academics, true. Yeah.
Anyone who went to uni, not us.
Yeah.
Everyone except us.
They generally have a much better idea, but we kind of work it out and we, okay, well, roughly what do you think you'll spend? And then we go from there.
Beautiful. Okay, cool. Obviously, you mentioned it before, and I think that's the way we're going to sort of tie this into being property related, because that's where obviously when a lot of people think about retirement, one of the biggest things and one of the most, it's gained so much traction. Every second person asks me about it these days now, even with my work, is SMSFs.
Yes.
Yeah.
Self-managed super funds.
Mm-hmm.
So rather than an employer paying your super to some super company who's going to invest in moderately risk, very vanilla blue chip stocks and earn a 7% return over the next 13 years. SMSF basically is kind of like do-it-yourself, DIY.
Exactly. Yeah, spot on. So to touch on the first point you made, that's a lot of work that we do around kind of helping people realize potentially if they're getting ripped off with their super funds. And a lot of people are.
Same age, same income.
Yeah,
same super.
Yeah, exactly. So you get...
I couldn't help myself. I'm so sorry. Put me to bed.
It's a good app. It sticks.
It is great, yeah. So you get a lot of people who don't really realize that they're paying sometimes up to 1% inside their super fund in fees.
Wow.
And that's something that's just, the way I see it is
it's a set and forget, right?
That's right. It's a number on a screen in a call center. And you don't really get much service from it, or any service rather. And it's often really hard to navigate. So you're getting charged through the nose.
Yeah.
Your investments aren't really doing that well. And, so.
I guess it's something that young people really aren't taught about. They just think they set it up when they go for their first KFC job at 16, and they don't think about it until they're 70.
Exactly right.
That's
Yeah.
true. And most young kids, I remember when I started part-time casual work as a teenager, I'm sure you guys are the same, they recommend a fund. They say, use this one. This is the one we all use. Just use that one.
Yeah.
And you just never really think twice about it.
Yeah.
Gyms.
Gyms super.
Gyms super.
One size fits all.
They work very closely with Jim's SMSFs as well.
Yeah. Which has been blowing up lately. But so it's a very very interesting, like kind of opening people's eyes now, and I think a lot of people are wisening to that fact. Not necessarily saying that an SMSF is appropriate for everyone, right? There's a lot of limits and a lot of restrictions around having to open it. And if you have a balance less than a certain amount, we probably say 400,000 to 500,000 is kind of the minimum balance. Then it's probably going to be actually more expensive with an SMSF because you need to pay accounting fees and there are other fees. The difference is they're disclosed. So you see every year on your statement, this is how much I'm paying. Whereas there's a lot of hidden fees in an Australian super or a HESTA or whatever it may be. So,
okay. Yeah. So in terms of SMSFs, do you want to talk us through the pros and the cons and how people can actually go about setting them up? I mean, look, spoiler alert, the reason I asked that question is because SAF can help you set them up.
I can. Yeah.
That's one of the services Morgan's offer. So you partner with accountants and accounting firms who actually have those qualifications to help people set up SMSF.
Spot on. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So a financial planner is someone that can help you set that up. So if you're thinking about your retirement and wanting to set up an SMSF, give them a call.
Thank you. There's the plug.
There's the plug. We were getting to it. But talk us through the pros and cons. Because obviously, I think a lot of people obviously starting to talk about it now, and people are wising up, especially our generation, I find. People are wising up and thinking, shit, I need to start actively planning for this kind of crap.
Yes.
And obviously SMSF, so I found it's become a massive buzzword. People talk about it, but not a lot of people actually understand the ins and outs.
Yeah. Okay. So obviously it's in the name, self-managed super fund. You are kind of the owner of your own destiny. There is so much.
There
is so much.
We're all so impressed.
The
benchmark is so high.
There's so much that you can invest in inside a self-managed super fund as opposed to a retail fund.
So you're not just limited to stonks.
Exactly. Yeah, you can buy direct property, which is obviously we'll get into later, but that's a very, very important reasoning for why a lot of people open it. And I really think it goes hand in hand with the stocks that are in your portfolio. So what goes in it? Well, the idea is that you open it with a financial planner who kind of gives you a risk profile and tells you, okay, well, if you're super aggressive, then we're going to build a portfolio of not small cap specky mining stocks, but like, some things higher up the risk.
You had to specifically target the mining stocks.
Yeah, I've got a bone to pick with them. But you're working with someone who obviously helps you. Who helps you do those things. And then you can kind of build out your portfolio from there. So a case study and one that we've worked on before is, someone's got $500,000 and, they're wanting to open up a self-managed super fund. They realize they're almost getting a little bit ripped off with their fees inside Australian Super. So they move it over. They put probably 150 to 200 in stocks, and the rest they put towards a deposit on a property. Now, there are obviously a lot of restrictions around that property, what you can do with it, lending restrictions, again, which we'll get into later. I'm getting excited. But spoilers. Yeah. But yes, to answer the question, you need to work with an accountant who can physically set that up. We have an internal accounting firm who does that. And then I also have other kind of accounting contacts.
So the main benefit realistically is complete flexibility and complete freedom.
That's right.
You have total control over how you invest that money.
You do. Yeah, exactly right.
Within the bounds, obviously, you want to follow the advice of a professional like Saf.
Spot
on. And the biggest con, obviously, is it's very difficult to set up. It's not easy. There's a lot of hoops to jump through regulatory-wise. And obviously expensive. You're paying a lot more fees.
Set up,
Not like you said. So basically, pros, a lot more freedom, make more money. Cons can cost a lot of money and difficult to set up.
Yeah, exactly. There's a little bit of an obligation on the owner of a self-managed super fund as well to maintain it, and ASIC kind of goes into that about how us as financial planners really need to stress that this isn't just something that you do set and forget. There is a little bit more effort involved than an Australian super or a retail fund. So, and this is what I was talking about before with it's not necessarily appropriate for everyone. Because if you do just want that set and forget,
don't do an SMS it.
Don't do that. But you have more control typically, not always, but typically the performance is better. And as you kind of grow and as it gets bigger, the fees are typically smaller. So it's depending on which advisor. Some advisors will charge 1% plus. I don't do that. There's
is that plug better? Is that the kind of plug?
Yeah,
okay. I'll take notes. I'll make sure I do my plugs better for future.
First time you would.
But yeah, so it's going to be dependent on everyone's personal circumstances. But I think it's really good to see that everyone's realizing that this is a viable option now.
Yeah. So on the topic of fees, obviously I'm not going to ask exactly how much you charge. That's not what we do on this podcast. But I think it's important people understand how you get paid. So obviously, three of us all work on commission-based structures. So it's a percentage. Do you work on a similar structure, or are you like a flat fee kind of?
Yeah. So typically it is a percentage. So it's, like I said, less than 1%, but it's based off the value of the assets in the portfolio. Now, for that example that I used with the 500, we're only allowed to charge a percentage-based fee on the stocks that we manage.
Okay.
Gotcha.
Not the property. So the property we're not allowed to provide direct advice on. At Morgans, we can't tell you to buy in Lake Illawarra. We can't tell you to buy wherever.
We'll do that.
Exactly right. That's where these wonderful young professionals come in. So
that was a nice description we've ever
So
I'll tell you where to buy.
Yeah, exactly. So you definitely need to go to a real estate agent or a mortgage broker when you're sorting out that part of the SMSF, whether it's lending or whatever it is. But yeah, we more so manage it.
So percentage commission based on the stocks in the portfolio.
Yeah, exactly right.
Stop saying stonks. It makes you sound stonks.
This may be a silly question, but how do you get your clients? Like, do they mostly come through Morgans, or do you do a lot of networking yourself to bring in?
Good question. So when I first came back to Morgans, the script was go out and kind of get what you can. So I have since established some relationships with accountants. So accountants are our biggest referral partners, mortgage brokers as well. And we work kind of as a team together where we refer each other. So, if there's a client who I think needs property advice, obviously we come here. If there's a client who potentially needs financial planning advice, then accountants will refer. Now, there's a law that accountants technically can't provide investment advice. So they come to us for that. So
mortgage brokers aren't meant to either, but Christian always advice.
Frustrated real estate agent.
Whoa. Are you trying to get me cancelled?
No. It's never been in writing.
How good's your editing?
formal
We're going to cut
complaint.
this out. Yeah.
I'll do the editing. I'll do the editing.
Okay.
It's like, if he forgets I've got the little black book.
You've got what?
You heard me.
Terrible.
I hate you so much.
Yeah.
So to answer your question, buddy, accountants, and then basically just networking. So people that I meet, it's similar to you guys, a bit of a butterfly effect. You meet someone, you do a good job, then they refer you to their friends because they're talking about you at a barbecue, and when they have a need for you, they think of you. So
remember that really drunk guy at the barbecue? Yeah, he's a mortgage broker.
Yeah, literally. Yeah.
I was just thinking there, when we do a good job, we get the referral. When Kara's dad does a good job.
Nice. Very nice.
You should bring my dad into it always. That was nice of you.
Oh, well, what am I going to say? Saf and I, at least we got our own careers.
It's Morgan.
No. Oh, yeah.
Daddy Morgan.
Ben's got what we call a chip on the shoulder.
Yeah.
It's not a good look, is it?
Sorry.
You're a big green.
All right. SMSFs, obviously the two biggest things you generally
I don't know how
invest
you
in.
roll that off the tongue. SMFS.
SMS.
Well, for starters, I'm not
SMSF.
dyslexic, so it's not that.
Fair.
I actually don't know
Maybe
if she's
dyslexic.
dyslexic. Maybe she is. That, yes. We think. Dom's not even paying attention. That's how I was thinking. He's researching. Okay. What I was going to lead into with that was obviously stocks and property are the two biggest things generally people invest in an SMSF.
Yeah.
Talk us through just very quickly pros and cons of each.
Yeah. So they definitely go hand in hand. Like I said, I think personally, and this goes against what I think most financial planners will say, property is a better tool for wealth creation.
Mm-hmm.
Stocks and the investment markets are better for wealth preservation. What I mean by that is
Put that on a t-shirt.
because
We'll be making a few t-shirts.
I know, right?
So it's not just going to be staff quotes.
1999. T-shirt.
I think because of the gearing and the tax benefits of property, I think it's a bit of a no-brainer if you can, especially as a younger person or an accumulator, get into the market. It's going to be a better place. Generally, again, every circumstance is going to be different to park your funds because over time, property typically doesn't return as much as the stock market. The average return is in and around 10% for the ASX and for US markets, whereas property is a little bit less than that. But say, as an example, you've got 200 grand, 6% or 7%, whatever property is making on $1 million because you've geared it up to $1 million is much higher
You magnify
than 10% on the bare 200,000. That's assuming you're not, margin lending or using gearing on your stocks, which is for more sophisticated investors. But so I think there's definitely a argument for property being something that you need to get into younger, and then while you're growing and once you've built that up, then where I actually get a lot of clients is they're saying, I'm selling a property. I've got, a couple $1 million that I'm making from this property. I've already got 3 or 4 other investment properties. What do I do with this money? And that's where
it's again, great problem to have.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Okay. So it depends what stage of life you're at, obviously, at the end of the day. But ultimately, there's a benefit to diversifying. Yeah, you never have too much of either.
I think the older you get, the more prone to the stock market, because this is what I say is that a stock isn't going to call you at 3 a.m. to fix a broken toilet. So that's why a lot of the time older clients tend to kind of lay off their property.
Yep.
Because from a management perspective, it can get a little bit difficult. But the returns are over time better generally in property. So and the stock market as well can go up and down. You need to have a stomach for it. A lot of people don't. If you've been investing in property your whole life and then all of a sudden throw $500,000 into an investment portfolio and the market goes down like it did last week, 5%, you're going to be thinking, what's my advisor done?
Yeah.
He's losing me all this money.
For a long.
That's
long
right.
time.
Yeah. We always have a long-term horizon and we always ride out these, it's because you can see the numbers on the screen at all times and it scares the crap out of people.
People get addicted to just sitting there and watching them.
Spot on. Yeah, exactly. Whereas property, you can't see
it's like
that.
roulette.
Yeah. In certain ways.
When I gamble on roulette, I'm a degenerate. But when Zach does it in the stock market, he's a sophisticated investor.
It is. It's like almost like professional punting.
It can be. Yeah, it can be. Yeah. There's a lot that goes into the construction of it and the portfolios that we do. And that's obviously, where our expertise comes in. But expertise is Anyway, but there's definitely pros and cons and differences.
Beautiful.
So
the last thing I wanted to talk about a little bit was with regards to SMSFs. Obviously, the average Australian is not going to have enough in their super by age 45 to be buying properties outright in cash, right?
That's right.
So obviously, one of the biggest areas that I've seen grow. When I started broking, there were 2 lenders in the entire country who did SMSF lending. Now I've got my pick of like 6 or 7 just on my panel alone.
Yeah.
So obviously, it's a massively growing market. And I wanted to talk to you about obviously the requirements around SMSF.
Yeah,
there you go.
Yeah.
Around the lending side. And obviously, I can weigh in a little bit on that one too. But in terms of, I assume the majority of the clients you deal with are leveraging, right? They're not buying these properties in cash. They are taking out mortgages,
That's right. Yeah. So the idea is that, you've got, and again, we'll use this other example, maybe they're positively gearing their place. So obviously the LVRs are quite low. I think 70% is the maximum. Is that right?
No, they got up to, it used to be, they got up to 80 now.
Right. Okay. There you go. Yep. So it's never, 95% like the government guarantee. It's always a lot more conservative in SMSFs.
It is capped at 80%. You can't borrow. You have to have at least 20% deposit plus associated costs with SMSF lending.
So there's obviously that to consider. But the idea is that if it's positively geared and it's kind of paying itself off, then the contributions that are going in, which, like you said, Maddie, over time, you don't even really realize that you're just contributing to the same super fund over time. That's growing your stock portfolio. So over the course of, 10, 15, 20 years, you've got a sizable stock portfolio, a property that's essentially paying itself off. And then once you get to retiring, you can go, okay, I'm going to sell the property. If you sell it when you're in pension phase, which is once you've basically hit retirement and you can start drawing a pension, then that money's tax-free. There's no CGT on the sale of that asset. And there's a big, big plus for people who've, held that property for a long time. So
And the other thing to consider, you sort of mentioned it briefly, but I want to elaborate on it because I think it's quite important. Obviously, when you're buying investment properties in your personal name, the goal is negative gearing. You want the property to be making a loss because you get tax benefits from it.
That's right.
In an SMSF, it's the opposite case because at the end of the day, if you take out a loan, the idea is that the rent on the property and your superannuation has to cover those repayments.
Yep.
And if the rent alone is not enough to cover the repayments, it's coming out of your super. And your contributions, a lot of the times when those properties are highly leveraged, the super contributions, the standard minimum 12% is not enough.
Yeah.
You have to be making extra contributions.
That's right.
And that obviously is money that you take away from yourself now. So the idea is, your point from before, you can't just jump into an SMSF and you have 100 grand in super. Not enough.
No, that's right.
You need to have more because even though the banks will lend up to 80% for an SMSF, it's not practical. Not unless you buy a property that has some crazy rental yield on it.
Yeah.
The idea is if it's positively geared, it is paying for itself and you don't have to cover the difference.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly right. Yeah. Yeah, and spot on, I think, for a lot of people contributing and having to top up those payments, especially if you're younger, if you're in your 40s, is a very scary thought because you're probably not going to be able to access it for another 20 years.
Yeah.
And you can't just take that money back out if you need to go on a holiday or buy a car or something else happens.
Yeah. It's a big investment, but it's a lot more. It's different to when you invest in a normal property in your personal name, you can always liquidate it and take that money back. When it's in the super fund, you can't do that. Once it's in there, it's in there.
So you are very restricted. And they do that by design, obviously, because, this is the upper end of the risk scale. But it definitely suits some people.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. I'm all questioned out.
Okay. That's better.
He does it at the end of the.
You waited till now to tell us?
About to finish.
Okay.
He was getting into it,
Yeah, I was. Getting excited.
He was having fun, man.
He was like falling into the mic. Ben does.
That was really, really interesting, to be honest, because I've noticed in only, 6 years now, that probably say 10, 20% of purchases are coming with
SMSFs. Yeah.
There's a lot more. It's such a growing market now. I'm dealing with it more and more now too. People are asking me about it constantly.
Yeah.
I do a lot of the lending side of it.
Clients or?
Well, yeah, my clients are generally younger. So dad's ones are the ones that are near the retirement end of the spectrum.
Yeah. I find a lot of people buy apartments too, instead of, obviously because
I've got a fair bit of commercial.
Yeah, that too. Yeah, commercial is very popular.
There's more restrictions on commercial lending.
Yes,
like from a lending point of view, it's a lot harder to get a loan for a commercial fund.
Yeah, exactly right.
And obviously it costs more. The interest rates are all high. There's a heap extra fees that are associated with it. So the lending side of it does get a bit.
I don't know. could be wrong, you can't transfer it if you already own the property, can you?
That's right. Yeah, you can't.
correct.
Yeah.
So there's so many rules around it. It's crazy.
Very, very strict.
And then you can't do like capital improvements to the property out of your own
correct.
funds.
Exactly.
Can't live in it.
Yep, that's right. Yeah. So it
If
has
it's
to be arm's
commercial and
length.
you have a business, you can't operate your business out of it.
That's right. Yep.
It is.
I believe
you can't
so.
rent off your SMSF property.
Yeah. It would have to be outside because that's an arm's length transaction, and
Everything's
that's,
doable.
Yeah.
If you're a Cayman Islands.
Swiss banking, baby. Cool. I don't. Yeah. Do you guys have any other questions for Saf while we got him here?
No,
That was really good.
That was good.
Cool.
Interesting.
How long do you guys normally take? Is it?
We smashed that out. That was 40 minutes. Yeah, we've done pretty well there.
Yeah, I think we're about there.
Is that a quicker session? Is that
No, that's
pretty solid.
pretty solid. Yeah.
We do have a way we like to wrap it up. We've got to have Ben.
We do.
see us.
You'll be good at this one.
All right.
Ciao.
Oh. Are we all saying ciao?
Yeah.
Just going around?
Ben usually does it a bit more.
Oh, do I?
Yeah, usually
That was
go
pretty-
and
that was-
ciao, and then we go.
Thanks so much for listening. Ciao.
Oh, Karen normally does the plug like, oh, you can watch us here and see us here. And thanks for listening, guys. And ciao.
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 There we go.
That was so sensual.
Everything presented in this podcast is for information and entertainment purposes only, and all advice is to be considered general in nature. It does not take into account your personal circumstances and financial objectives. Please consider if this advice is right for you and look to consult a financial professional.